think about the vast digital world around us. The websites, the tools we use constantly, even the core systems running everything.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
And so much of it, surprisingly maybe, isn't built by some single company in secret. It's actually the result of, well, something quite amazing, global collective creation.
Built by communities, people sharing their work openly.
It sounds a bit counterintuitive, doesn't it? This idea that some of the most vital software out there is developed right out in the open.
Right, where anyone can look at the code, tinker with it, even improve it, freely available.
And that's exactly what we're digging into today. We're taking a deep dive into cultivating these open source communities.
Yeah, we've been looking at various reports, articles, trying to get a handle on the history, the mechanics, and honestly, the just incredible success of this whole approach.
So our mission here isn't just to define it. We want to unpack what makes these huge distributed projects work. Not just survive, but really thrive.
Exactly. What are the hurdles they face? And maybe most importantly, what lessons can we pull from this model? Lessons that might apply way beyond just writing software.
And hey, as we start this deep dive, remember you're part of a community too. This exploration is brought to you by the All Sorts Podcast Network. We're all about sparking curiosity and exploring topics that really matter.
Yeah, and if you enjoy uncovering these kinds of insights, you should definitely check us out on YouTube. Just search for the All Sorts Podcast channel.
Hit that subscribe button. It's the best way to join the adventure with us.
Okay, so let's get into it. Open source software. What is it fundamentally?
At its core, it means the source code, the actual instructions written by humans for the computer is public.
Right. Anyone can see it, download it, change it, share it again, usually under certain rules, certain licenses.
Okay, but if anyone can just grab it, what's the point? Why is that openness such a big deal?
Well, the real magic isn't just that it's often free, cost-wise. It's the sheer acceleration of innovation you get. You're tapping into a global brain trust, essentially. People from all over with different skills, different perspectives. They could all look at the code, they find bugs, suggest fixes, add features, spot security holes. It's a scale of collaboration and, frankly, knowledge sharing that, well, no single company could probably ever match on its own. You get access to this huge pool of expertise.
So it's not just about coding faster then. It sounds like there's a broader impact.
Oh, definitely. That transparency, it builds trust. It encourages genuine collective problem solving. And often the software that comes out of this process is just incredibly robust, really adaptable. It can evolve much faster than closed proprietary systems.
And you see that across industries, right?
Absolutely. It lowers costs for everyone, makes technology more accessible. It kind of democratizes it. Plus, having all those eyes on the code promotes better, more ethical practices. It's really become a fundamental building block for so much modern tech.
We've got some amazing examples from our sources, too. Linux, for one.
Linux. Classic example. Started as just one guy, Linus Torvalds, wanting a free alternative operating system.
And now, it's everywhere. Powering most internet servers, all Android phones, the world's fastest supercomputers. It's foundational.
And its strength comes directly from that community approach, right? It's flexible design, the constant updates, the security focus that comes from thousands of people scrutinizing it.
Or think about the Apache HTTP server.
Yeah, the workhorse of the early web. Still incredibly widely used. Its success wasn't luck. It was that welcoming community, always improving it. Great documentation built together, that modular design.
And Firefox, I remember when that really took off. It came from this vision for a browser that was faster, safer, more customizable.
Totally. And it was fueled by this huge, passionate community of contributors. They iterated really quickly based on feedback and had this strong focus on user privacy. That really struck a chord.
Then in AI and data science, there's TensorFlow. Google started it, but open sourcing it just democratized machine learning.
Made it accessible, yeah. Good design, solid docs, massive community building tools, sharing knowledge, push the boundaries on performance too.
And Kubernetes also started at Google. Totally changed the game for managing complex cloud stuff, container orchestration.
Oh yeah, pivotal. Simplified things immensely. And again, the vibrant community drove its success, made it extensible. It just became the standard almost overnight.
These aren't just, code projects. They're proof of what open collaboration can achieve.
Definitely. Now, who actually does all this work? It's easy to think it's just programmers, But the sources really emphasize that's not the whole picture.
Right, that's a key point. Yes, coding is central, but these projects need a whole ecosystem. You've got UI/UX designers making things usable, testers hunting bugs, security reviewers making it safe.
And crucially, all those other roles, documentation writers, translators, project managers, people organizing events, marketing, release management, community builders, PR.
Without them, the software might be brilliant code, but nobody could use it, understand it, or even find out about it. It wouldn't scale.
And the scale we're talking about is just mind-boggling sometimes. Look at the Linux kernel again. Since 2005, something like 15,000 different developers have contributed.
15,000.
Yeah. And for just one version, 4.13, it was over 1,600 developers from 225 companies. Over 24 million lines of code.
Wow.
And get this, changes were merged at an average rate of 8.5 patches per hour.
Per hour? How do you even coordinate that?
Exactly. It's incredible. So what makes people do this? Dedicate their time, often for free, to these huge projects.
What did the sources say?
Several things come up. The chance to work with and learn from really smart people. The satisfaction of knowing your code might be running on billions of devices.
There's got to be a buzz.
For sure. Also, a genuine passion for the tech itself, maybe low-level stuff, and a real belief in the core principles of free and open source software, FOSS, the idea of shared knowledge, of freedom.
To really get that belief, it helps to know a bit of the history, right? The free software movement.
Exactly. People like Richard Stallman championing free as in speech. Not necessarily free beer, but freedom. Freedom to run the software, study it, change it, share it.
That led to the GNU project and the whole idea of copyleft licensing, like the GPL.
Right, the GNU General Public License. It basically ensures that if you build on free software, your creation has to be free too. Keeps the freedom propagating.
And the GNU system plus Linus Torvalds kernel, that became what we often call Linux.
Precisely. The term open source actually came a bit later, around 98. It was partly a strategic rebranding.
Ah, for the business world.
Yeah, the Open Source Initiative, OSI, was formed to kind of package the idea in a way that emphasized the business benefits, making it sound less radical, maybe.
More pragmatic.
Because initially, corporations weren't exactly fans.
No, not at all. Hostile, often. Worrying about intellectual property. You heard terms like IP destroyer.
But that's changed dramatically, completely. Now, huge companies, IBM, Oracle, even Microsoft, who were very skeptical early on, they're massive contributors. They saw the light. Faster innovation, lower costs, better reliability.
It's a big contrast to the old proprietary model with vendor lock-in and no way to see or fix the code yourself.
Exactly. But it hasn't all been smooth sailing. The sources are clear about challenges within these communities, too. One big one is demographics.
Yeah, the underrepresentation of women, for example. It's been a known issue for a long time.
There's been some growth in participation, which is good, but the sources mention studies showing women can still face biases. Their contributions might be judged differently, sometimes even if their identity isn't known.
Really? Even with anonymous contributions?
Sometimes, yeah. Or being subtly guided towards less technical tasks. It's complex. And sometimes the focus on pure merit can make it harder to see and fix those systemic issues. It's something communities are actively grappling with, how to be truly open and welcoming to everyone.
So you have all these different people all over the world contributing. How do they actually organize themselves, make decisions? Let's get into the mechanics, the governance.
Okay. First up, legally, the license is everything. It sets the rules. The sources differentiate between two main types.
Right. Permissive and copyleft.
Exactly. Permissive licenses like BSD, MIT, Apache are super flexible. They basically say, do what you want with the code, just keep the copyright notice. You can even use it in closed source software.
Okay. And copyleft.
Copyleft licenses, like the GNU GPL family, are different. They require that if you modify the code or build something new using it, your new creation must also be released under the same or a similar open license. It forces sharing.
Kind of viral openness?
Sort of, yeah. Both types usually need you to preserve the original copyright notices, though.
It's also useful, I think, to see open source as a kind of public good.
That's a good way to put it. Anyone can use it, and one person using it doesn't stop another. In fact, it often gets more valuable the more people use and contribute to it. Network effects.
And the organizations behind these projects, they can be structured in different ways legally, but it's tricky, right? Because you don't own the software in the traditional way.
Right. The producer owns the development, not the software itself. That makes things like getting nonprofit status, especially 501c3 in the U.S., Quite challenging.
Yeah, the IRS rules have gotten stricter. Some projects, like X.org, managed it by emphasizing their educational mission. But others got rejected because the IRS had a narrow view of public benefit for just code.
It shows how older legal structures sometimes struggle to fit these modern digital public goods.
Okay, so that brings us to how projects actually make decisions day to day, the governance models.
Yeah, this is crucial. Choosing the right model encourages people to contribute and helps manage the complexity. There's a spectrum,
Starting with.
the benevolent dictatorship. Sounds dramatic, but it just means one person, or maybe a small group, has the final say. Linus Torvalds and Linux is the classic example.
So the community contributes ideas and code, but Linus makes the ultimate call.
Pretty much. It needs a leader with deep knowledge and the community's respect. They usually have to justify decisions, but yeah, they can reject things, which can cause frustration sometimes.
Okay, what else?
Then you have meritocracy. Here, influence and decision-making power are earned over time through valuable contributions through merit. Is more decentralized.
Like the Apache Software Foundation.
Often cited as an example, yes. People who consistently contribute well become committers with more say. But, as we mentioned earlier, even here, communities need to be mindful of potential biases affecting how merit is judged or recognized.
Makes sense. What's next?
Delegated governance. This is more structured, often with elected councils or committees looking after specific areas, settling disputes, setting direction.
So more formal leadership roles.
Right, more chances for contributors to step into leadership, but sometimes decisions can take a bit longer going through the layers. Ubuntu is sometimes mentioned here, though its model has evolved.
Any others?
The sources also mention dynamic governance, which tries to give everyone a voice, aiming for maximum buy-in and belonging. But it requires really high, consistent engagement from lots of people.
Sounds demanding.
It can be. And finally, the federated model. Think of it like an umbrella organization with independent regional groups or project teams underneath.
The local autonomy.
Yeah. Chapters might run themselves differently, but they're linked globally. Maybe even with global voting rights for contributors on big picture stuff. Understanding these helps see how they manage to coordinate everything.
But structure isn't everything, is it? You need the people to be engaged.
Absolutely. Community engagement is the absolute core. It's what fuels innovation, builds that sense of belonging, that ownership. That's what leads to more people contributing more good stuff.
So how do projects do that? What are the practical strategies?
Well, first, clear communication channels are essential. Forums, chat like Slack or Discord, mailing lists, places for discussing.
Sharing people together, too.
Yeah, definitely. Events are key. Code sprints, hackathons, workshops, whether online or in person. They build connections, share knowledge, help onboard newcomers.
And creating a welcoming space.
Crucial. A clear code of conduct, properly enforced, signals that diverse views are respected. That helps attract a broader range of people.
What about showing appreciation?
Super important and often simple. Regular shout-outs, mentioning contributors, maybe creating specific roles. It's hugely motivating. Shows people their effort is seen and valued.
Okay, but these projects must face real challenges day to day.
Oh, constantly. Lack of resources is a big one. Funding, people power, infrastructure. Building a strong community structure with good onboarding, mentorship, and recognition helps mitigate that.
What about disagreements or diversity issues?
That's tough. A code of conduct is the start, but it often takes active fostering of open discussion, maybe even communication workshops within the community.
Burnout must be a risk too, especially for core maintainers.
Huge risk. Maintaining momentum long-term is hard. Setting realistic goals, communicating progress well, celebrating small wins, involving more people in decisions that all help spread the load and keep energy up.
And quality control, with potentially thousands contributing.
Requires robust processes, strong code reviews, automated testing, clear contribution guidelines, good documentation are all vital.
How do they keep users happy and attract new ones, since users often become contributors?
Good point. Strong online presence, great docs and tutorials, a supportive forum or community space where people can get help and give feedback.
And the governance itself can get complex.
Yeah. Transparency is key, keeping the community involved in discussions about how the project is run. And finally, funding. Always a challenge. Projects need to explore lots of avenues, sponsorships, grants, donations, maybe partnerships.
Right. So if someone listening is thinking about starting a project or maybe just contributing to one, what tools are kind of essential?
Good question. For managing the work, things like Trello or GitHub projects are common.
Version control is a must, right? Git.
Absolutely. Git is the standard, usually hosted on platforms like GitHub or GitLab.
Documentation.
Can't stress it enough. Tools like Gitbook, read the
Flooded
docs
with
help. And always start with a good readme file.
communication platforms.
Slack, Discord, mailing lists. Depends on the community vibe.
Licenses.
Need to understand them. Resources like chooselicense.com are super helpful there. Then there's automated testing, CI/CD, Travis CI, Circle CI, GitHub Actions are popular.
Building the actual community.
Clear contribution guidelines are step one. Then platforms like Open Collective or GitHub sponsors can handle funding and transparency.
Getting the word out.
Social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, blogs, essential for visibility.
Training new folks.
Tutorials, webinars, videos makes onboarding smoother.
And tapping into existing communities.
Yeah, places like Stack Overflow, GitHub discussions, great for support and outreach.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. What's the main takeaway for you, our listener?
Well, first, just maybe a deeper appreciation for the hidden collaboration behind so much of the tech you use every single day. It's this incredible real-world proof of how distributed teamwork can function at massive scale.
And if you're thinking, hey, I want to get involved, remember, it's not just coding.
Exactly. Documentation, testing, design, translation, community management, these are all vital roles. Find a project you care about, look for their contributing guide. They often specifically ask for non-code help.
And maybe think about the principles themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Transparency, collaboration, clear communication, recognizing effort, building inclusive spaces. These ideas aren't just for software. You can apply them in almost any team, any community project, hobby group, anywhere, really. They tend to lead to better, stronger results.
So we've journeyed from what open source is through the people, the structures, the challenges. It's quite a world.
It really is. We've seen how sharing knowledge openly has built critical parts of our digital world.
And it leaves us with a pretty powerful thought, doesn't it? About the collective potential we unlock when we choose to open things up, share what we know, and build things together.
Could bringing more of that spirit, that openness and collaboration into whatever you do, big or small, lead to breakthroughs you haven't even imagined yet.
That's something to chew on. And while you do, remember this exploration is just one thread in the larger tapestry we weave here at the All Sorts podcast.
We love digging into these topics for you, and the best way to fuel that is to become part of our community.
It's easy. Just head over to YouTube, search for the All Sorts podcast channel, and click subscribe. That way you won't miss our next deep dive.
And hey, if you like this one, give it a thumbs up. Share it with someone else you think might find it interesting. It really helps us reach more people.
Check out our back catalog, too. There's a whole bunch of fascinating explorations waiting for you. And connect with us on social media. We're on X, Instagram, and Threads. Keep the conversation going.
Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive.
Until the next one.